A common thing that a lot of people who are bullied struggle with, and even I dealt with this for a very, very long time, but a common thing that we deal with is this entire concept of, why is my bully successful? Why are they getting away with the things that they did? Why are they able to make friends and succeed in school and work, and I'm just here struggling? So this is something I've seen people way older than me struggle with. And for me, this is something that I admit I still sometimes do struggle with, but I've kind of begun to accept the truth. So for me, I've started to complain about it a lot less. But I remember 3 years ago, this is all I ever used to complain about all the time. But I've understood the truth now, so I'm going to tell you why. Look, the thing that you have to understand is that, first of all, when it comes to justice, justice is a man-made thing that is created in response to the things that we have to deem right or wrong to keep order. But the thing about justice is that justice can only happen when there is evidence and there is a reason to pursue a case against that person. That's the thing, that the harshest truth that people aren't willing to tell you, that justice will only be taken out when it can be and when there's a reason for it to be. If the person who did the wrong, in question, who did the wrong thing, is a person who it just doesn't really suit the system to punish that person, they're not going to punish that person. Because the reason why your bully is getting away with what they did, why my bullies got away with what they did, why they're doing perfectly fine while people like us, the victims like us, are struggling, is because in the new places that they're in, they're not telling people what they did. Okay, they're not doing that because they don't have any reason to. Because think about it, when it comes to going back in the past and saying sorry to somebody that you hurt, what are you actually getting out of doing that? You don't actually technically have to do that. And if you don't have to do anything, if there isn't actually any physical reward for something, most people are not really going to do it. There is no reason for you to actually do that, because they hurt you in the first place. Because they're not sorry, they're not going to give you an apology anymore, because they're not sorry, and they're going to get away with it because they don't have any reason to go back and they don't have any reason to tell people about it. The brutal truth is that the world has to continue regardless of what people did. Deeds are just that. They're just deeds. They're an arbitrary thing. Nobody knows what kind of things you've done. I'm making this video talking about all the bad things people have done to me, but of course I've also done a lot of wrong things. Never as bad as what people did to me, and I've always tried to make up for them. But the reason why I'm even willing to say this in the first place is because I am sorry about it, and I am willing to make up for it. But these people are not, because they never cared in the first place, and they don't care now. The thing that I've realized is that, what you act on will move. Okay, if your bullies are getting up and getting out there and getting after the things that they want, they will get what they want. If the world doesn't have time to ask who is a bad person and who is not. I mentioned this in my first video, but being a good or bad person, if you think about it, is an arbitrary thing. And it's kind of at times hard, and it's a lot harder than people are willing to admit, to really know how good or bad of a person is. Now, if a person is just completely awful, abusive, angry, aggressive to everybody they ever meet, then okay, sure. But your bullies know who to be nice to and who not to be nice to. They know they have to be nice to somebody who will help them in their career. But when it comes to a person who was like me, for example, back when I was in high school, short, underweight, I was underweight, but maybe if you're underweight or overweight, no physical ability, socially awkward, inassertive, doesn't have any people around him, is always alone all the time, they know they can get away with hurting a person like that. They know that hurting a person like that is pretty much at that point the same as not hurting anybody. Because weak people who do not have strength, people who aren't capable, this is a really controversial thing to say, but these people don't have a say in how the world works. People like me, who back then, who were just people who just get pushed around all the time, people like me don't have a say in how the world works. People like me don't get justice no matter how much we're suffering. The world doesn't care about people like us. It doesn't. People like me, it doesn't, And one of the harshest truths I've learned is that everything in our world works like a business. If they don't have a reason to punish a person and it's not, suitable to punish a person, they will make all these decisions through the lens of a business decision. It's like trying to let somebody go, oh, should I let this person go? Should I release this person? Will it help save the company money? You know what? Sure, yeah. Will it not? Okay, then I'm not going to. That's how they think about it. Will punishing this person actually give them any reward, or will it just be them punishing a person who lines their pockets? Because if that's the case, they're not going to punish that person. That's how this world works. How much money can this make me? Will this give me any actual reward or merit of any kind? If it doesn't, they are not going to pursue a case against that person, maybe even if there is evidence. And most people won't really care anyway. But it's not even always that people don't care, it's that people can't do anything. It's that we're powerless. What is there that we can actually do? We put these people in power in the first place. There's nothing that we can actually do against these people. And on a smaller scale, that's why your bullies are getting away with the things that they want, because they are useful to the friends that they have. They are able to be nice, like I said, to the right people. It's just about if you can be a good person to the right people. And most people don't actually really care about how good or bad of a person you actually are. Even if their friends did find out that this person bullied somebody, they'd probably be on their side because, well, they're nice to them. So why do they have to cut this person off who's useful to them because they hurt some other person that they don't even know about, right? That's how the world works. But like I said about what you act on will move, the thing that you have to understand is that complaining about all of this eventually gets to the point where it's a waste of time, because you have to see that this is objectively how the world works. Once you learn to see the world objectively and not through your personal biases, not through what you want it to look like, but how it does look like, that's when your life will get a little bit easier, and that's when you will start to control what you can control, okay? Because, like I said, if your bully, let's say, goes to college, university, if they study and work hard, they will get good grades. The people marking their tests don't have time to ask, oh, did they hurt this person? Did they do this to that person? They don't. If they looked at the test, they looked at the fact that they got most of the answers right, they mark it well, they get a good grade, they are successful. That's it. What you act on will move. It's like a chain of dominoes. It doesn't matter if you tip the domino, the first domino, with a pencil, with a stick, with your finger. If you make that action, it causes a chain reaction. That's it. It's just about who moves and who puts in the hard work and who doesn't. That's it. And so that's the reason why, what I also have to realize is that if I'm sitting around feeling sorry for myself, I'm not going to have anything, because it doesn't matter if you're a bully or a victim. It's just about who is useful at what point and who is able to contribute at what point. Once you understand this really brutal, harsh truth that the world works this way, this is when you understand. But otherwise, when it comes to people of power, when it comes to evil people, the world is fundamentally run by evil people. And the harsh truth that I've had to learn is that good doesn't beat evil just because good has to do that. If evil is stronger, evil wins. And just wanting to do the right thing, it doesn't mean anything. Since childhood, they tell us in all the movies and TV shows that we watch that anybody can be a hero. It's just about wanting to do the right thing. And I think that this is nonsense. I don't really agree with this, because yeah, wanting to do the right thing is a big thing, but a person, if you aren't capable, if you don't have strength, then you don't get what you want. Strength is what matters the most if you really think about it, because think about the way I was back in high school, as I mentioned, skinny, short, always alone, inassertive, bad at everything. A person like that, no matter how nice or noble he is, can't help anybody. You need to have a lot inside you first if you want to give something to anybody. And if you're just incompetent, if you're just weak, you don't get a say in anything. Like I said, these people have power. That's it. They are protected by different people on all sides. That's how they're able to get away with what they want.